I stole my first stepmom's wedding ring. Bit of a backstory. My first stepmom was a lunatic. She treated her son, my stepbrother, like he was her husband rather than my father. She would take him, my sister and I, buy him a super cool expensive toy, then berate my sister and I for asking for something too. And it would usually be nothing even close as expensive or big as what he got. She would let him bully me, including knocking out my 4 front teeth, which I had to go without for almost a year because the teeth weren't ready to come out. And every time I tried to fight back, he would immediately cry and run to her, and I would get in trouble from her and my father, who only went along with her shenanigans because he wanted someone to take care of him, aka a wife. The final straw was when my half-brother was born. I was only 7. I was expected to raise him. I had to feed him at ungodly times in the night while my dad and stepmom slept. I had to change his diapers, bathe him, all the things you had to do for a baby. All the while, I was expected to still do well in school and choir, which I ended up having to quit because of all this. One day, they left me home alone, another thing they did frequently, and I decided enough was enough. My stepmom had taken her wedding ring off, or who knows why, and saw my opportunity to mess with her. I went into the bathroom and just snatched it up, along with a couple of other pretty rings I saw, and hid it in a hole in the couch that only I knew about, and waited. Well, she gets home and has a fit because she can't find her ring, and of course accused me. But for once, my dad stood up for me and said I would never. I left the ring there for a couple days until she gave up and had to believe she had just lost it. I then moved it to a toy box in my room where I forgot about it for many years. Me stealing the ring was the first in several things that caused their marriage to fall apart. Not that they needed help, they constantly fought from day one because of their relationship. I found it again when I was moving out of my dad's house at 18, and by then my crazy stepmom divorced my dad and he remarried to another lunatic lady, hence why I moved out before I even graduated high school. I still have the ring and it's still pretty and constantly reminds me of how I basically ended my dad and first stepmom's marriage. I still think it's hilarious to this day. I think this person should pawn the ring. Screw the reminder, you can keep that in your memories, but if you get money out of it, that's a good ordeal. I, on a personal level, had a crazy evil stepmom as well. Actually, multiple. So I know how that feels. So kudos to this person because I wasn't as diabolical or didn't think of getting back at these crazy stepmoms. And I kind of wish I did. So, I didn't do it because I am a little, weakling about it. But I feel this person. And having stupid step siblings that take advantage of you and then you get in trouble for it. I honestly, this person's my hero. But I also think he or she could have done more than just stealing the ring. There's a lot more you could do. But as a kid, that's pretty diabolical. Go to a jeweler and sell it and buy yourself that toy you always deserved but never got. Absolute legend and trooper to have raised your half-brother like that. I mean, what if your toy was outdated? The toy I always wanted back then was one of those fake cars, like a Barbie Jeep. So it'd be kind of pointless now because I actually have a car. So my boyfriend's dad's ring went missing one day, and for years his mom swore he had simply misplaced it. It was a huge sore spot for them until one day my mom was watering an indoor plant and there was his ring on the stall of this plant. Turns out their toddler had planted daddy's ring, and eventually the plant grew tall enough that the ring came out of the soil along with it. The story isn't really related at all. I just wanted to share. I think that's a good experiment because now you know rings don't grow on trees, but now you know. You can't honestly think the absence of a chunk metal led to an ultimate demise of that marriage. Anyone who treats their stepchildren so shamefully doesn't deserve a happy marriage. I hope you pawned it and got drunk with the money, but a fun drunk, not a harmful drunk. Maybe just smoke a doob. No, I mean, this person doesn't really need an education. You just need to get, a fun drunk. Not an alcoholic kind of drunk. Or maybe just smoke some crack. In conclusion, I don't think I would have had the balls to do this as a kid because I would probably think some Cinderella story would happen and some fairy godmother would come save me from an evil stepmom. But I side with this person on this because screw evil stepmoms.